Hello, everyone. I'm now going to take my glasses off because I'm very vain. Welcome to the next episode in the series on the EFT Tapping for Business that I started last week, and thank you so much for watching it. The beginning of this session is a question that was asked by Dottie, who belongs to one of the groups I work with. And thank you very much for asking this question. You wondered about the link between EFT and acupuncture, and you had no idea that there was such a link. So I thought I'd tell you about how EFT came about. Because it's a lovely story and seemingly not many people know about it. The ancestor of EFT, because we're going back about 25 years now, was called thought field therapy and was invented by a guy called Roger Callahan, Dr. Roger Callahan. He was a psychologist, and he was one of the first people who, I don't know if you've ever heard of cognitive behavioral therapy, but he was one of the first people to create cognitive behavioral therapy. And he was a very famous psychologist in California, and he had a very large clinic, and he was a CBT specialist. And he had a client called Mary, and this is very well documented, and you can see probably there's a famous interview of her like ages ago. And she had a phobia of water. As in really seriously, a very bad phobia of water. And they kind of worked out in therapy why she had a phobia of water, but she wasn't shifting. I think it kind of got her to the point where she could wash her face in a bowl of water, but otherwise she couldn't go near water. Obviously she could drink it, I suppose, but anyway, it was a really, really bad phobia. And one day he was, listening to her talk about her childhood or whatever it was. And he was at the time training to be an acupuncturist because he was really interested in Chinese medicine. And he was a researcher, so he used to research things. And he suddenly said to her, wonderingly, I wonder, where do you feel this fear of water in your body? And she paused and she said, it's in my stomach, Dr. Callahan. And he thought, well, that's interesting. It's in her stomach. And then he thought, I wonder what would happen. And he remembered that there is a point for the stomach meridian, which is underneath the eye. And he said to her, Mary, I'm just going to suggest something really weird, but who knows? Nothing's worked so far. Let's have a go at this. Why don't you just tap on underneath your eye there? He didn't give her any details. And think about that phobia of water and that feeling in your stomach. So she did. And she tapped and she tapped and she tapped. And then after a few minutes, she stopped tapping, got up and walked towards the pool. It was in California, and he was a rich man. Unless everybody's got pools in California. Anyway, I wouldn't know. So she walked to the water, and he ran after her because obviously she couldn't swim, and he got panicky. He's like, what have I done? And she said, no, Dr. Callahan, it's fine. It's gone. And it gone. And Roger Callahan's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I've discovered the miracle cure to phobias. And then, of course, the next patients, he got them to tap on their underneath their eye and didn't work. And after a while, he realized that it depended on where people were feeling the emotion or the block in their body. So he'd say, well, where is it in your body? And they say my throat. So that would be a different point. So he created a whole series of points that you could tap that were corresponding to where you were at and what was going on in your mind and in your body. And he was the first guy to make that link between, because acupuncture does, it depends on the acupuncturist, but some acupuncturists do work with emotions, but usually it's more like mechanical than I don't want to offend any acupuncturists, but there's not that many who work with the emotions. So he then created this called thought field therapy. And it was quite complicated, and people still use it. It's very well researched in America, particularly. And it was a series of algorithms that you created using muscle testing, and you still use the same points, but it was a bit complicated. And then this guy called Gary Craig came along, and he studied with Roger Callahan, and then he thought to himself, I wonder what would happen. It's very cumbersome, this technique. I wonder what would happen if we just tapped the whole points in sequence. So you'd start with top of your eyebrows, and then you do this without actually doing any muscle testing, just focusing on the problem and where it's in your body, and it worked. And that's how emotional freedom techniques were created. And now there's many, many different versions of it because Gary Craig gave it away for free, and then he tried to take it back, and there's a whole complicated story about that. But I tend to use the more traditional way of using it. And it's an amazing technique. So there's the answer to your question, Dottie. I hope that kind of answers it. And now I thought we would carry on with the work we were doing last week, which was to do with, if you remember, we were looking at what is your dream about your business, what is it you want, and then the objections. And I'm going to show you something kind of really quite interesting, which I call the spidergram. It's called the spider diagram, if you wish, because it looks like a spider web. And the way it works is, here you go, all technology, absolutely amazing. I can draw so well. And what you do is called the spidergram. And in the middle of the spidergram, you put your heart's desire, whatever it is. Hello. You put your heart's desire, whatever it is, regarding your business or not, depends. And then you draw arrows like this, and then you fill in the objection. So if we look at, remember last week my objection was if I do the broadcast, nobody will watch. So that's gone, because I know lots of people watched. But when I think about it, the next objection is, well, yeah, but they only watched out of pity, or because they're kind of my friend on Facebook, or they felt sorry for me. That's a completely new objection. And if I give it a number, it'll probably be a 5. But if I actually go deeper into it and say, well, what's that about then? It's about I'm not worth watching. So people will only watch me out of pity. So it's no longer about I'm not good enough. It's about I'm not worth watching. What I'm saying is not worth it. So that's probably a 10. So, and on you go. So you get deep, you dig deep and try to find all the objections you can find. You might find more than, I don't know how many I've got there. I've got 7. You might find more than 7. But there, you have your objections. And then you give them a number. At 0, do you remember 0 is no objection at all. 10 is very, very strong. And then you write it down. Okay? And each objection will have a different number. If you end up with 3 10s, then you just make your mind up which one you're going to choose first. You work with the 10, as usual, and then we'll start. So I just thought we'd do it. And obviously, you haven't had the time to do the exercise. I'm not going to pause for 5 minutes to give you the chance. Just pause me, do the exercise, and then start again. So let's look at this objection about I don't know, I was just thinking maybe I'll work on something myself, because why not? So I would like to make £100,000 a year. My first objection is no, I wouldn't, because the tax man would get me. Another objection is I don't know what I would do with the money. Third objection is nobody would pay me that sort of money, and on it goes. We're going to start tapping on the side of our hand like this, like we did last week, and we're going, I just want you to focus on the first objection, the one you've chosen, and say something on the lines of, even though I've got this objection, and it's a very strong one, and I've no idea where it comes from, it doesn't really matter, and I've got it, I accept I've got it. Don't like it very much. I'd like to kind of explore it a bit further, and I would like it to go down a bit, or even disappear altogether. And I accept this is where it's at. I have this objection, and I accept this is where it's at. Okay, and then just start thinking these objections. I've got this objection. I wouldn't know what to do with the money in my case. I wouldn't know what to do with money. And then let your mind wander. So I wouldn't know what to do with the money. And then the next thing that comes to mind is, of course you would. So that's not what it's about, is it? Yeah. So then suddenly, out of nowhere, I was just thinking, suddenly I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm thinking of my dad. And instead of thinking, why am I thinking of my dad? I'm just tapping on my dad. Something to do with my dad. That's fine. So I can't earn £100,000 a year because it's something to do with my dad. Okay. My dad wouldn't like it. That doesn't feel right. I don't know what this is about. Now it's gone. So suddenly I don't have an objection about my dad. 100,000. I can't be bothered. It's too much work. That's it. So you see, that's a good objection. So I think, okay, well, that's not, obviously that's not the right number. So I don't want to earn that sort of money. I don't need to earn that sort of money. So it's fine. We'll just move to the next objection. And then we do it like that. So you got your objection. And you wander as you do. I call it the wandering EFT because it's very random. It's like a meditation. You don't know why. Doesn't matter. I've got this objection. But now do I? Just think again. What number? What's the number? Oh, I don't have any objection at all. And it's gone. Okay, so it's gone, or it isn't gone. What you do is you go back to your spidergram, remember spidergram, and then you go through the objection, you put the next number down. So if it's gone down to 0, it's gone down to 0. If it's gone down to 3, it's gone down to 3, whatever. And then go through the other objections and see whether they've changed. Because I tell you something, it's really weird, but sometimes they do change. And then you just do it like that. You unravel it in that way. And then you look at the middle again and your heart's desire. And you ask yourself, well, how are we doing with the objections? I hope this helped. I hope you found it useful. What I would love to know is whether you've been trying this and whether it worked, it helped. And also if you have any questions, because it'd be great if you could tell me what you feel about it, what you'd like to know, what you would like more of, so that next week I could tell you more about stuff. I mean, next week, if people have got questions, it'd be great. I'll try to answer them. If nothing turns up, then we'll carry on working on this idea of the heart's desire. I'd like to teach you a bit of a way to imagine yourself and to tap on future selves, which is my kind of really big thing. I love doing that work. So it was lovely to talk to you. I hope this recorded, because the previous one I tried didn't work. I hope this has worked, and thank you for watching. As ever, my name is Bea, Salmon, S-A-L-M-O-N, Hawk, H-A-W-K. If you want to find me, I'm on Facebook. My page is called Change Your Story, and if you would like to sign up on it, it'd be great. I'm in between websites. I need to tap on that. I think I'm going to go back to Salmon-Hawk.com. I'll tell you more about it next week. It was lovely talking to you. Blessed be. Bye.